Welcome, everybody. I am here in a hotel room, so I hope that my camera and my audio are okay. Raise your hand in the chat or let me know. I'm so happy to welcome you. We are here. Elyse is our co-founder of FMCA, and we're here to answer any questions you might have about the course, anything that is on your mind, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. So let's start right in. So Elyse, I'm going to turn it over to you. Elyse will be the
Sure.
moderator. Will answer the questions that come her way and then turn others over to me.
Yes, absolutely. So welcome everyone near and far. And we have the pleasure and the ability to use the chat today. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat box and we'll be able to see them and answer your questions. And you can also give us a little hello, tell us where you're from. We love to know that there. And let's see, and we're gonna go ahead and answer some questions. So I just wanna, again, just say thank you for attending tonight. And the first question comes from Sharon. And so Sharon asks, she says, I just want to hear more about how to motivate others to make change work for them. That's awesome.
Oh, I love that. Well, it is all about the client finding their motivation. What a coach does, and this came from my mentor who I studied with, Frederick Hudson. He said a coach inspires passion and purpose in others. So it starts there. For example, my favorite question to ask is, what do you want your health for? What matters most? You find what's important to you, and usually that's a heartfelt connection. It's about love, someone you love, typically. And that's how you help someone find their motivation. Then you dial down to where would you like to start? And it can be tiny little increments of change in baby steps. So that's a wonderful question. And that's exactly what we're going to teach you. You're going to have so much practice in how to do this, how to help people find what's going to motivate them. And it's different for every individual.
Absolutely. And Helen asks, what is the percentage of health coaches in different countries? And what's the difference between a doctor, a fitness coach, and a health coach?
Okay, so it varies by country. Probably coaching is more established in the United States. Right now, it is growing. We have a number of students from Australia. We have a growing group there. I just connected just this week for a group called Life Science, who is in the Philippines and other parts of Southeast Asia, and we're going to be partnering with them to train people in those countries. We have people, many people from Europe, people from the UK, really all over the globe. So, and we have people who are so passionate about their mission that they are the first person in their country. Our student who just graduated from, she's from Bulgaria, and she is on a mission to spread functional medicine there. So wherever you are, that can happen. The second question, so a doctor, if you are a medical doctor, you would have a medical license. Physical therapist, for example, would have a certificate. A health coach is not a practitioner. They do not have a license. You get a certificate. From us, you get a certificate of completion. You could then go on and sit for the board certification exam because our school is approved for you to sit for that exam. But really the difference is in scope of practice. So practitioners do things like order labs, but coaches are really, according to Dr. Jeffrey Bland, the father of functional medicine, where the rubber meets the road. In other words, he believes that you have the most important role, the health coach, because you're the ones who are inspiring people to make those changes.
Absolutely. The boots on the ground. And Yvonne asks, is there an age limit for participants who would like to become health coaches?
Oh, I love that question. Well, if there were, then I wouldn't be here talking to you because I was the founder of FMCA and I was 65 at the time, and now I'm older than that. We have student age is completely irrelevant. We have some young people just out of college, and we have people who are in their retirement years. They've already retired. They learn about us, and they are so passionate about what they want to do now that they've chosen to study with us. So we have people who are much older than I am who are in the program.
And Helen, I think you're on the call tonight. So hello, or it's probably Wednesday for you because you're in Australia. And so Helen asks, is the qualification gained from this course recognized in Australia?
Yes, absolutely. We have a huge group in Australia. They have a reunion. They have meetups. So yes, big group in Australia.
And the next question, this is a really common question, and it's how often do you begin the classes? So we start the classes twice a year, and our next class starts September 1st, and the next one after that starts March 1st. So twice a year, March and September. So Randall asks, what is the criteria for acceptance into the program?
Sure. So the number one criteria is really someone who is passionate about having this mission. So that means you do not need to be a licensed professional in a healthcare field. So the minimum requirement is an associate's degree. That would be in anything. But we have some who don't have that, and then perhaps they just, they became a yoga instructor right out of they don't have that associate's degree. We have people who don't have that petition to say why they want to study with us. And it's pretty evenly divided between people who are from a healthcare field and those who are career changers. We have a whole wide variety of levels of experience, education, and previous careers.
And Suzanne writes, I'm a naturopath, herbalist, and homeopath. What an awesome combination. My registration, however, has expired, but I'm interested in getting back into the industry in a different way. Would this be a good fit?
So absolutely. So all of those prior learning paths will come in handy. You could use those, you can blend those, and definitely pulling upon your prior interests as you train to be a health coach. And health coach is a really rapidly growing, exploding field. We have such creativity amongst our graduates, the different areas that they choose to pursue.
And I would just add on to that for Suzanne, but also for anyone else who's listening in now or later, we are going to send an email with a link so that you can schedule a call with our admissions team. And if things, if you still have some questions or you want some more clarity around how this could potentially look in your life, or if this is a good fit for you, Sandy and I both strongly encourage you to hop on a call, schedule a call with an admissions team member, and they'll be able to walk you through, answer their questions, especially from the space of a student and or alum. So that will be coming in your email afterwards. Okay, so Tracy asks, I'm a registered nurse, tired of hospital work. How could I use this to make a positive career change as a nurse?
Oh, well, we have a lot of nurses who could certainly resonate with what you've just said. And what many have done is slowly transitioned away from their hospital-based position. They maybe started with a few private clients. Also a great way to begin working as a coach, having access to physicians. So we are really committed to connecting our students, graduates, with functional medicine doctors, but you may have a wider circle of access to other doctors in your community as a nurse. So you would start cultivating those relationships and then really looking at all of the different ways you can add value to their practice. One great way would be to lead group medical visits. We teach a group wellness coaching model that people who are very conventional medical doctors, that resonates with them. So they gather groups of people together, for example, people who have type 2 diabetes, and you lead a group. And that is something that is even reimbursable through Medicare if there's a nurse to take vital signs. So that might be a great way that you can combine your previous training.
Great ideas there. And Dan asks, and a lot of people have been asking in the comments as well, so what is the cost of the course right now? So the course is $7,997. If you go to our website, which is functionalmedicinecoaching.org, there is in the navigation bar, it says program, and underneath that it says tuition. So you can go and click on that and see what the tuition is, as well as our payment plans. So next question is, do you have payment plans? And this is from Latrice. And so yes, we do. And we have 6 and 9 month payment plans, and it's also listed on our website on the tuition page. Let's see, the next question comes from Cheryl, and she asks, when does the next class start? What's the latest date I can pay the full price tuition for September 2018? And is there a limit on the number of students for the September 2018 class? So just so everyone knows, there is an apply by date. So you'll have to apply by August 24th. So that's coming up next, not this Friday, the following Friday. And then to be the last date to enroll would be August 31st. And then I'm going to turn it over to Sandy to talk about the number of students.
Great. Well, we started with a small class. We had a beta class of 26 people. We have grown and we have about 400 who are in our current class. And we are looking at, we want to have a model, and we're really committed to this, and that is personalized instruction. And so we're not going to just have a bunch of people who are just numbers only. You work in small cohort groups and have a course facilitator. So it is, even though it may seem like a large number of students, it really boils down to having a dedicated group of maybe 20, 25 people who you will go through this year with, and you really get to know one another. So we're committed to that. It's not just going and listening to webinars because it's online, but it's really so much engagement through your cohort group, which are live like we're doing now over Zoom.
So the next question is for Sandy, and can you talk a little bit about the curriculum, the program, how long it is? Does it have to be completed all at once? Is it all online? Do I have to travel?
Okay, no traveling, all online. And I was inspired to create this curriculum because I always liked integrating things. And I trained as a psychologist, and I worked as a psychologist in practice for about 35 years. And I had trained way, way back in mind-body medicine and positive psychology, which is what we teach, before it had a name. Now it has a name and robust body of research to support it. So what we did is blend mind-body medicine, positive psychology, and then what I had learned as a participant, and then someone who was certified through the Institute for Functional Medicine, the functional medicine principles. So we are a collaboration with the Institute for Functional Medicine, and that means what you get is IFM. So if you were a medical doctor, you would go to IFM. And when we built the program, we built it with the IFM leaders. We sat and spent many hours in retreats, and they, meaning IFM, has their slides, their faculty. They are our faculty. So they will be your teachers. And then we've also brought in people from the world of positive psychology. I teach a piece about psychology of eating, and we put that all together. So it's a combination of listening to webinars and interviews, having access to live Ask the Experts where you can ask questions, meeting with your cohort group where you would do a lot of coaching, where you experience the coaching process. So it's 12 months. Each month you get a new module. It's based on a particular theme, and you do go at your own pace in terms of how you want to listen to the webinars. You'll have access to the materials for 1 year after graduation. So if you don't listen to everything, then you can come back and revisit them at another time.
Okay. So the next question is, how is this program different from IIN? That's the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And could this be a good program to do after IIN or instead of?
Yeah. So we are in collaboration with the Institute for Functional Medicine. So this is our direction. Our model is to teach functional medicine principles and pair with the other pieces, mind, body medicine, positive psychology. So we have a huge emphasis on positive psychology coaching, and we teach from the Institute for Functional Medicine's point of view. And so it's directed. You will learn to use the functional medicine toolkit, for example. Because of this collaboration, we are so fortunate that we have a community. You become part of the IFM community when you enroll. What does that mean? It means that you have the potential to connect with doctors who want to hire you. And every year we are seeing an increasing number of functional medicine IFM trained doctors because they know about us. When IFM has their events, they are talking about FMCA. And so doctors want to meet you, they want to connect. We intend to do a whole lot more of this. I've been meeting with the IFM leadership, and we have a lot of initiatives coming up to see how we can even closer connection. So we are like sisters, we are together, and therefore you are, again, have access to those doctors. So that is different from IIN. It is a great mix. We have so many IIN students who are following. It's kind of like a post-IIN education. It's a specialization. We also have many people who have shared that they were about to go to IIN and they choose to be with us. So that's a personal decision that you would want to make.
And I would also add to that, if you are looking at our program or other programs, and that is awesome and that's great. Finding a program that's really going to fit for you and what your needs are is something that we also want for you as well. And so again, I encourage you to schedule a call with our admissions team, and that link to schedule a call will actually be coming through to your email after the webinar. And that's just a great place to talk and to figure out what is going to be the best next step for you. So we're going to move on. We've got lots of comments coming in on the chat, so thank you for that, and we will definitely be getting to those. The next question is, what is the difference between your program and the Adapt Health Coach program from Chris Kresser?
Okay, so we are the only health coaching program in collaboration with the Institute for Functional Medicine, and it was actually our idea to start a program that blended functional medicine with positive psychology principles. And so IFM is the global leader in functional medicine and highly respected around the world. And we are just so privileged to be a part of that as their partner. So we are science-based, research-based, focusing on the IFM approach. And what that means is that as they develop some new food plans, for example, we teach you all the IFM food plans, and they are developing a new one, and I'm going to share with you now. It's called the Mito Keto Flex, and this is a brand new. It's been in development. We've actually been working with Dr. Christy Hughes on this, and our director of coaching development, who is also senior faculty at IFM, Monique Class, is going to be doing a live teaching of this to the incoming September class, first time this has ever been shared. It'll be a complete food plan. So that is where we differ. We are aligned with Institute for Functional Medicine. We also have other things that are, are different as well, but that would be the main point.
And Kamal, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. This question is there peer-to-peer coaching as part of the program, and what other support is offered?
100%. We are all about peer-to-peer coaching. That's what happens in those cohort groups. And I have to tell you that our class that just graduated, I just watched today and I was in tears. One group made a video. This happens almost every time there's graduation. There's tears at the end. The cohorts stay so close. Some decide that they don't even want to leave. They form study groups and just meetups with each other. So they're continuing on their own. But this video was a tribute to one of the course facilitators. And it was really talking about the answer to the question you just posed, which is the support that this cohort leader gave to everybody, that they always felt heard. And when times were hard personally, the whole group got together. And she said, that was my support. If without that cohort group, without FMCA, I could not have made it through my personal crises. And that's what we hear over and over again, right, Elyse? Like, this was my personal transformation of being connected to your community is what got me through the toughest personal challenges.
Yeah, it's very inspiring to watch and to see how people are growing and transforming throughout the year. And on top of that, there is just an overwhelming community and family that you get when you join FMCA. So.
Absolutely. And the faculty talks about that. And it's part of not just FMCA's family, but the whole Institute for Functional Medicine family.
So this next question comes from Dominica, and she asks, can a pharmacist practice functional medicine? If so, what are the limitations?
So if you are a pharmacist, and we do have many pharmacists enrolled, and we have it's important, and we have a lawyer who often comes on and talks to students, and it's really looking at what state you reside in. And because each state varies, we talk to you about how to go back to your individual state to check what those requirements are. But many people who have a license in another profession will have two hats, and they would have an informed consent that they would give to the client. Okay, I'm going to be your health coach, and I would not be acting as your pharmacist in this role. So it would be very clear at the outset what that client is contracting for. And we teach you all about how to do that so that you stay safe. That's our primary focus. So yes, it is possible. You wouldn't be practicing functional medicine. Nobody who graduates from us can practice medicine. You would have to have a medical license to do that. But you could be a functional medicine coach, which is using the principles to educate and help people make difficult lifestyle changes.
So Jay asks, do you go over commonly ordered tests and how to interpret and address them with your clients? And do you teach about certain tests that we might want to order?
So we have presentations about labs, and then we look at, depending who you are. So in other words, if you are not if you are not a licensed professional whose license authorizes you to order labs, then that would be out of your scope of practice. We have some states where that's possible. So we talk about labs, we educate, but we would be very careful about using words like ordering labs and interpreting labs. Again, it's where you want to be sure where the state where you live, the license that you have, what would allow you to order or not. But we do get the educational part of it in.
So, and Judy asks, in what ways do you predict how coaching will change over the next 5 years? Does the program address coaching those in countries other than the US?
Okay, I love this question because it ties in with a talk I just gave on the future of health. And what I was inspired by was a talk that Dr. Jeffrey Bland gave to recently, and that has to do with the fact that he believes in the power of the new era of community-based, patient-activated healthcare that will be facilitated by health coaches. And what he said is that this is an era where we're no longer tied to hospitals and medical settings, but it's out in the community. And doctors aren't going to go there. It's you. You will be where he says where the rubber meets the road. And it's really helping people with this growing number of monitoring devices, of access to direct-to-consumer testing, and there's a lot of confusion. And you are the ones who are going to be on the front lines really helping people understand this, feeling empowered, so that this movement is absolutely growing, will get even stronger. So that's the future. And none other than Dr. Jeffrey Bland, the father of functional medicine, who is someone who has been a supporter of FMCA from the get-go and advocated for this coaching program. This is what he believes strongly.
So,
your other question is about the international. So we have a growing presence. There are opportunities internationally, and depends what country you are from. But we are seeing a really big trend in people from other countries who are looking at becoming a health coach, either adding it to what they're already doing or going out and just experimenting with what they've always wanted to do. And many people, the common thread is wanting to serve. We have one person in Australia. She had been a teacher, and she's now going into the outback and just serving there. And this is her passion. So yes, there are a lot of opportunities for people who are in other countries.
So Andrea asks, what kind of assistance can you provide after the training to connect the graduates to the health coaching world in a way that helps them to get work as a functional medicine health coach?
Yeah, I would say that I spend about half my time making connections as CEO. I'm out there at a lot of events, connecting with people to hire our graduates. And we've been very successful with that, where we are building, for example, corporate wellness program with connections. We have a director of alumni development whose work is to have job descriptions. She has personalized matching with somebody. A doctor comes to her, want to hire one of your coaches. She will help create a job description. She will post it. We have other groups who want to hire large numbers of our graduates, and that is in the works. In fact, I just met with somebody the other day who that's exactly what we talked about, and he was so excited. He said, "Oh, you mean you could send like lots of people my way?" This was in corporate health. So a lot of different opportunities that we are absolutely committed. I'm a matchmaker at heart. I love making that happen. So yes, we are very much about cultivating those relationships to help you find work.
So Karen asks, how long has the program been operating, and is it accredited?
Sure. So our first class, our little group of beta students, started in October of 15, and we So this is now we're entering the class of September of 18. It is the accreditation that is the gold standard is the International Consortium for Health and Wellness Coaching. This is what will allow you to then call yourself a board certified health and wellness coach. And this is a relatively new organization, and they're calling those schools who were approved in the first phase approved transition schools. That's where we are, means our graduates can sit for that exam. So they're entering their permanent approval status, and we'll be working on this in the coming year.
Okay, and then a question came in about who actually teaches the course.
Sure. So there are two levels. We have the faculty. So that would consist of people like Dr. Joel Evans, who's our Director of Curriculum Development. He is senior faculty for IFM. He designed and teaches their advanced practice hormone module. And then others who are in through IFM, like Christy Hughes and Jill Carnahan. So though they teach, they do webinars, sometimes they do interviews as well, or sometimes they come on as Ask the Expert. And then we have the course facilitators who are leading the cohort groups where you are coaching and being coached, and you are getting specific feedback, not just from the supervisor, but from your peers. A lot of it is learning from one another when we get into the coaching part of it, the coaching skills. I should add one other thing, which we haven't talked about. Another way that learning takes place is what we call our coaching in action series. And that's where you see it you see coaching. And we usually show the good coaching and the bad coaching. And we have actors who are playing clients, and we have faculty members like Monique Class, like Deanna Minnick, who are in the role of the coach. And we also have people like Jim Gordon from the Center for Mind-Body Medicine, who are sharing their coaching as they are going through the process of showing what coaching really looks like. And that's actually the direction that we the way we love to teach, by showing it and by having you do it, as opposed to just listening to webinars.
So Deborah asks, can health coaching be done remotely? And can the coaching certification be used as a standalone practice or business?
Absolutely, yes to both. Great feedback from research to show the effectiveness. It doesn't matter. So we're on Zoom right now. The intimacy is very powerful, the same as if it's live. It's a great model, so you don't have to travel. Your clients don't have to travel. You can work anywhere. And yes to your second question as well. Absolutely.
So the next question comes from James, and thank you for painting a picture for this question, James. So he writes, I don't have a healthcare background like my wife does. She's an allergist, and I know marketing. We just opened an integrative allergy clinic together in Charlotte, North Carolina, and want to implement functional medicine as part of the treatment program. As a two-person show, how can we seamlessly implement functional medicine coaching without adding a larger workload to decipher and work through with the client or patient? Thanks in advance.
Sure. Well, there's many ways to do that. You could do groups in the office. You can have ways that there's the coach is the first person that the client sees. And I love that you're blending marketing. We find we teach a lot about marketing through the course. And there's many people who believe, James Maskell is one, Tom O'Brien is one. We've talked about the power of the health coach to come into a practice, whether you're setting it up with someone you already know, which is in your case, or you were just connecting with a doctor, and you can be that person who will help that doctor elevate the practice, because they don't have time to to learn the marketing. They don't have time to go out and do a talk to the community. But the coaches are often, depending on your skill set, you may be comfortable or want to do that kind of work. And that's a great way to look at how you can add a lot of value to a doctor's practice. So yes, you can. That's a great. There are many ways. When you join FMCA, I have office hours. Elyse has office hours, and one of the things that we like to do is have you bring issues like this to us, and then we'll brainstorm and go into more specifics about what that could look like as you go forward with your idea.
Yeah, absolutely. And we love that. So we love interacting with you all. I'm actually going to move over to some of the questions that have come in from the chat box. So I hope I'm saying your name right, but I think it's Raul from Chicago in our neck of the woods. He asks, what would you recommend to someone who plans to participate in the program and start building a coaching career while working full-time? It's an unrelated career.
Sure. Well, that's a situation common to so many of our current and past students, and looking at how to make that work-study schedule work. We strongly believe you're an adult student, adult learner, and therefore you design what's going to work for you, and we'll accommodate that learning plan. And then as you graduate, there are many people who keep the current job and then start to gradually build up a coaching practice. So others are going to bring what they've learned in the coaching program to their current position, depending on what that position might be, if it's suitable or not. The common thread, I have to say, for everybody, though, is a personal transformation. So no matter what you're doing, no matter what you choose to do in the coaching arena, and we have some people who have no interest in becoming a coach. They're here to learn this incredible curriculum, to get to study with IFM faculty and learn the functional medicine piece and learn the positive psychology piece. And now they're using it in their own lives. And they're feeling like their health's better. They're they're thriving. And I can't tell you how many people have come out to me and said, "Oh, it was that positive psychology is like that really helped me in so many ways that I couldn't even imagine when I first applied to FMCA."
Yeah, it is really a beautiful thing. And there's that there's an assignment at the beginning as well to kind of help visualize what that could look like for you. Sharon asks, I work a full-time job and can't afford to quit to go to school. What are the hours for the classes and what time zone?
Okay, so your situation, I would say, is the same as probably about 99% of our students. Actually, I don't know one person who would be just full-time if they're not full-time students. If they're not working full-time, we have people who are raising children. One person has 11 children. She's homeschooling. We have other people who have had situations where they had to evacuate their house because of floods, hurricanes, mold, other issues, and we have others who are traveling extensively. So you find when you enroll, you will get a link, and then you would, as the class opens, you register. You're in a cohort group, and you choose that group based on the day and time that works for you. Some are morning, some are evening, and you find one that works. And you could do so the cohort groups are live meetings, and there's a certain number that you attend, and if you can't, there's ways to make up. But the webinars you can do anytime. You can do it in 2 a.m. in the morning, or you can do it at midnight, anytime that works for you. Hopefully not that late. we talk about sleep in the course.
I would also encourage you, if that's something that you're struggling with, or if it's a barrier that's coming up, to definitely schedule a call with our admissions team. They are more than willing to work with you and kind of brainstorm some different ideas and also share some tips of what worked for them or what might have worked for someone in a similar situation to you. So Claudia, I'm a chef and I want to do a food health and do food health coaching, basically, to talk to people more about the importance of health than the taste. Do you think that that's possible?
Oh, I'm excited about that mission. I love that. We have others who have been chefs who had other ideas, and that's also the kind of thing I'd love to work with you. But what do you want to do with this? Do you want to have a blog? Do you want to have a cookbook? Do you want to have classes? So many different things it's a great way to combine your skills as a chef and with having this knowledge and being able to help as a coach.
Oh yeah, I totally second that, and talking about the functions of food and making them taste good. So that sounds very exciting for you. Kimberly asks, she is wanting to understand the mission of the program a little bit more. She states, I'm a psychology professor. I already teach positive psychology and do strengths-based counseling. I teach health psychology, yoga, and meditation, yet I feel drawn to this as something that pulls everything together. I'm not sure I understand who my clients would be and how this would be enriching to my practice.
Okay, well, it sounds like we share a lot. I'm also, I have become certified as a yoga teacher in my past, and we sound like we have so much in common. We have a number of psychologists in the program, a number of people who've taught university level positive psychology experts. So you would take what you already know, you would learn the functional medicine piece, and I would say it's a journey of discovery to see, where you end up. Maybe it's something that right now you wouldn't have imagined in terms of finding perhaps if you said you're working at university level or you're teaching this, if you have a practice, if you're seeing clients, what many psychologists do is, again, they have different informed consent. If they're doing psychotherapy, it's clear that that's what somebody is getting versus switching hats to coaching. And many psychologists find that this is a really nice way of working because it's what they're passionate about. They can be the educator, they can teach people about the connection between food and mood, and there's a huge need for this. And we actually have some people who are looking at coming onto our faculty and extending the focus on mental health.
And I would also encourage you, Kimberly, if you're wanting a little bit more clarity, to please schedule a call with an admissions team member. And they'll be there to help you as well. And Elizabeth asks, upon a person completing the course, what is that person's ability to find employment in a country like Canada, as functional medicine is not strong here yet? Also, how does a functional medicine certificate differ from training as a naturopath?
Sure. So a naturopath is a practitioner. So and in some states, or many now, can be licensed in that state. So the training would be different in that. So, for example, if you're a naturopath and you're going through the Institute for Functional Medicine, you would get a deeper dive into the biochemistry, into the very, very specific details about cellular biology as it relates to root cause medicine. And we are focusing much more, you get that information on a little bit more of a basic level. You'd still get it, but what we would blend it with is the coaching practice. So we'd make sure that you get all of those skills about how to effectively coach. It's client-centered, which comes from the psychotherapy world, actually, humanistic psychotherapy. And so that would be different than what a naturopathic training would be getting. Many of the models, the principles of functional medicine are similar of what naturopaths were doing. For example, Joe Pisorno, who started Bastille. As far as Canada, that is growing. We actually have a course facilitator based in Canada. One of my good friends, Sachin Patel, is based in Canada. And if you were to enroll with us, I would make a connection to Sachin. He is growing his network, and it really is all about personal connection. The other thing is that you could be based in Canada and have a practice of clients around the world. You don't need to be confined to your local community. That's the beauty of virtual coaching. If you have an area of specialization, for example, then we really would focus with you on how you can use that to grow your practice around the world.
So Kate asks, is this for senior coaches or more of a base learning tool?
So it is really both. So we have people completely new to coaching. We have others who want to hone and refine their skills, who want to, maybe they've studied at other training programs. Many of our students have been coaches already, and they're here to really learn this unique piece that we teach, the functional medicine and positive psychology, if you haven't had that piece as well.
So Angela writes, what are the trade-offs between getting a certification like this and getting a degree in nutrition or dietetics?
Sure. So the world is changing in terms of what is, where people are finding value. And it's shifting so that there's increased interest in certificates. And the difference is it depends, I would say, where you want to work. If you want to work in a hospital system and you want to look at, evaluate a patient at bedside, their nutritional needs, then definitely the route for you would be to become a dietitian. Many people are very frustrated with that approach. Elyse could talk to it because she was studying in that world and she left. But it is, if you were more into the conventional world, looking at somebody who is going to be helping somebody who needs to be on a particular restricted diet, then that would be for you. Nutritionists, dietitians are trained as the expert. Here's your food plan. Here's the what we're going to put in your feeding tube, for example. Whereas a health coach, this is so much broader. You will get the functional nutritional piece as developed by IFM, but you will also get the positive psychology, mind, body, medicine, the psychology of eating. We do a pretty deep dive into that. So it's not just eat this, not that. And I think that's what we hear from nutritionists. I was talking to a few this past weekend when I did the talk about future of health, and that is how there's a lot of frustration in that world. So do you need a master's degree? No.
All right, so next question is from Laura, and I hope I'm understanding this question correctly. So if I'm not, feel free to type in the chat box. But she asks, do we have the same networking and support in Australia?
So yes, Australia has a growing network of graduates, and they get together and a lot of support. And whether you're in Australia or you're a next door neighbor where Elyse and I are in the Chicago area, you'll still be calling in as we are now over Zoom. And so we're supporting you even if you're many miles away.
Awesome. Sounds like that answered her question. So thank you. Roy. So Roy asks, or he also shares a little bit, I'm enrolled in a health coach certification program. They have increased the requirements to obtain their certificate 3 times in the 9 months since I enrolled. Is your curriculum to obtain certification fixed when a person matriculates.
Yes, we will not change anything midstream. If changes are made, it's for the next class. But whatever is on that syllabus, unless it's a mistake, we read those through pretty carefully. But yes, so what you are promised is what you get. We will not change anything.
And Claudia asks, is the course for medical doctors and nurses?
So we have doctors who have gone through the program. We have a number of nurses as well. It's not designed for doctors and nurses specifically. People come from so many different professions. We have farmers, we have dentists, we have people who've come from corporate world, we have yoga teachers, we have Pilates, personal trainers, nutritionists, chefs, you name it. We've had just a whole variety. Education, a lot of teachers, a lot of social workers, psychologists, and everybody works together and lends their, it's amazing what I find is that prior background really, it's not like you abandon it. Someone was just telling me that. So she is using, she thought she was going to completely switch when she enrolled. And now she's seeing those past skills have really come in handy. So whatever field you're in, whether it's access to networking. So we will work with you. That's one of the things I love in my office hours is helping people define who they are. And as they grow into this role of a coach, and how they can use any past training to help them to grow even more.
So this next question is actually right up, what we're talking about. And so who is this from? Let's see. This is from, I think, Grace. Grace talks a little bit about her background in fashion. Even though she's been helping people on the side get better, feel better for the past 2 years for free, she's just been using her personal experience, it sounds like with breast cancer and knowledge about food in relation to health. And she has a private group apparently that she helps people in, but she wants to know, as a health coach, if she was to begin with us, if we're here to teach and help with the business building side of things. And she also wants to know, is it okay to call herself a health coach even though she doesn't quite have the qualifications?
So we are here to help you design your career path. And it's not a cookie cutter. We don't have a formula for that, but we'll sit down and work with you individually to help you create that. So if you can say that if you have zero training as a health coach, I would be cautious right now about saying you're a health coach. You could say, I'm studying to be a health coach. It's my passion to help and support others. And probably a common thread is so many of you have been doing that for years anyways. You have friends, neighbors, relatives coming to you, and you have been inspiring them. We have, in fact, it was interesting. I just shared an Uber at this event I was at with somebody who had been a makeup and hairdresser for many years, and she studied to be a coach, and now she's looking at how she can educate about toxic beauty products and help people feel good inside as well as looking good on the outside. And so I love to connect with you to see, how you can use that, use your prior career, and how you can, again, merge coaching into that. And I think it's a perfect match.
And we just got another question in from Kristen. So Kristen writes in and says, I'm a primary care nurse practitioner in Canada and looking to shift my practice focus towards more of a wellness approach versus disease symptoms-based care. I've been researching various health coaching and wellness courses. What do you feel makes your course stand out?
Okay. Well, let me tell you what we're told. we're told that it is our passion, the fact that we will go to any length to really have a personalized connection to make it work for people. To also really, we feel that because we have the collaboration with IFM, that when you join us, you're joining the IFM community, and they set the standard. They are the gold standard for functional medicine. There are a lot of copycats out there, but we developed this model of functional medicine paired with positive psychology coaching. IFM created the functional medicine organization, and as they have new initiatives, we have them as well. So we are just really privileged to be a part of their network. We means that we have collaborating partners that are their collaborating partners, like Living Matrix and Dr. Dan Kalish is My Practice Plan, other groups that IFM is working with that we're privileged to work with as well. So that is something that really does set us apart. I just want to get back to one thing that came up about the practitioners. So we have practitioners who don't want necessarily to go out and quit their job practicing medicine and become a coach. They want to use those coaching skills to be a more effective doctor. And that's another reason that people come to us to study to be coaches.
So, Kristen, this is a great question. And I really encourage you to set up a call with our admissions team if you would like some more clarity, if you'd like to brainstorm a little bit more, if you'd like to hear a little bit more. And I think one of the things that we get this question a lot on our admissions team, and one of the questions that we like to ask those who have this question is, what is really important to you in a program? And then to kind of really see, okay, does this resonate with me? Is FMCA for me? So I'd really encourage you to reach out to our admissions team. And again, an email is going to be coming up as a follow-up, so you'll be able to click a button and schedule a call. And we've got another question that came in from Elizabeth, and she says, you may have already talked a little bit about this, but how many hours per day are required to put into this program to graduate, not just successfully, but to really understand and be able to help others in this area of expertise? I do understand the more you put in, the more you get out, but I guess I'm asking how many hours generally is required. This is a really good question.
Yeah.
We get this a lot, so.
We don't have a firm requirement. People tell us that it ranges from maybe 8 hours a week to 15 hours a week. There's no special day. So we don't say that just like if you were enrolled at a college, you have to go to class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You may decide that I'm going to devote all day Sunday to studying, or I'm going to devote Tuesday and Thursday nights. So what is going to work for you? Many people say, this is how I went through programs, is that I like to do double duty. So I would walk and I would listen to webinars while I was walking, or walking around the house doing chores. So the only thing that is a firm requirement is to participate in live Zoom, like this is Zoom cohort meetings. You can choose a cohort group based on the day and time that will work for you. And again, there are some meetings, life happens and you have to miss. We're not going to kick you out of the program if you miss a cohort meeting. There's ways to make that up.
So we just have a couple more minutes. So if you have any lingering questions, please write those in the chat box. If we don't happen to get to one of your questions, you can always email our admissions team, admissions@functionalmedicinecoaching.org. And then I also just put in the chat box a link where you can go ahead and schedule a call. So my encouragement to you is, if this resonates with you, if you're feeling inspired to take action and to schedule a call and just be open and see, what unfolds for you as you talk to one of our admissions team members. So we've just got a couple more minutes. Go ahead, Sandy.
I just want to say I'm just honored that you all are here, took the time out of your busy lives to come find out what FMCA is all about. And if you do enroll, I'm here to serve you and see how we can make this the program that will meet your needs, so that you're here because you have an endpoint in mind. You want to be somewhere to fulfill what you're most passionate about, and we're here to support you with that.
I second all of that. And I also want to try and fit in one more question. So Kristen asks, when you register with the program, is there special access or discounts on other IFM courses? I've been looking at taking a few of those modules. They look incredible, and they are.
Yes, there are some specific discounts that IFM provides for various courses through them. So we can share more with that, about what that would look like.
Well, on behalf of FMCA and Sandy, I thank you again. We're so honored to have you, and please reach out with your questions. We'll be sending a follow-up email, and you can go ahead in the chat box and schedule a call with admissions if that is speaking to you. So with that, we hope you have a great day or rest of your evening. Thank you for spending it with us, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.